So what makes a good university chaplaincy? Put it another way, how can you measure it? That's the interesting question. Is it the number of slices of cake that have been consumed in the last year? Or maybe you need to measure it in tons rather than slices. Is it how many goals you score against Cambridge in the inter-chaplaincy football match? Is it the number of postcards handed out on Gower Street? Is it the number of people in the pews, the adult baptisms we had, the vocations to the priesthood and religious life and marriage, etc.? These are really interesting things, and you can imagine the conversations we have at the chaplains' conference every summer, swapping stories, pretending these things don't matter, but really wanting to get in our statistics. But they're all wrong. These are all the wrong answers because they're all concerned with the past and with the present, aren't they? Everything I've just thrown out a bit randomly. It's what's been going on this year or what's happening at the moment. But the real answer for what makes a good, successful chaplaincy is about the future. Ultimately, the answer is, how many of you will go to heaven? That's how we know whether this has been a success or not. And to bring it slightly back down to earth, how many of you will stay faithful to Jesus and to his church over the years ahead? How many of you will give your lives in service and sacrifice for others and for God? That's the measure. It's hard to do now, it's impossible in fact, but that's the question that really matters. In 5 years' time, where will you be on Sunday? Will you be living your faith on the Sunday at the Mass? Will you be living your faith in the world, in your relationships, in your work, in your college? Will you be contributing to the life of your parish, discerning and discovering your vocation? Will you be becoming a saint? Notice the word, becoming. Maybe you're not there yet. I say all this because it's Good Shepherd Sunday. And Good Shepherd Sunday, notice the readings, it's about the responsibilities of both the shepherd, Jesus, and the sheep. It's partly, yes, about the promises that Jesus the Good Shepherd has made to us. In the book of Revelation today, we heard about the huge number of people from every nation, race, tribe and language standing before the throne, just like you and I today before the altar. St. John is speaking of heaven, but also we can imagine the congregations gathered round their altars. And the Good Shepherd makes a promise that God will spread his tent over you. Beautiful image. He will spread his tent over you to protect you. You will never be hungry or thirsty. The Lamb will be your shepherd. God will wipe away every tear from your eyes. And in the Gospel, the Good Shepherd says, I give them eternal life. They will never be lost. No one will ever steal them from me. I hope you feel safe and assured and reassured. This is the key message of Good Shepherd Sunday, that Jesus Christ is the Good Shepherd, the Saviour, the Liberator, the Protector. Rejoice. This is the good news. It's touched our hearts. It's why we want to share it with others. It's what sends St. Paul and St. Barnabas off to Antioch to preach the gospel today. The joy of this good news. But second, Good Shepherd Sunday is also about the responsibility of the sheep to stay close to the shepherd. It's a two-way thing. Quote, the sheep that belong to me listen to my voice. I know them. Great. And they follow me. Aha, there's a catch. Well, it's not a catch. It's part of the deal. I know them and they follow me. There's something for us to do. We can never be stolen, but the assumption is we don't want to be stolen and snatched away. We want to be here in the flock with the Lord. Look, this is very thinly disguised, but I'm giving you now, in case you hadn't noticed it, my end-of-year homily. Pay attention. Now I know it's only early May, and most of you are doing exams still, but last year I said all this in June, and everyone had left by that time, so it was too late. So this year I'm doing it a month earlier. Even if you're not leaving this week, even if you're worrying about exams and you're not thinking at all about the future, this is the end of term message. I hope you have had a good experience of faith this academic year. Here in Newman House in the chaplaincy, in your Catholic societies, in your colleges on campus, in your universities, in the parishes around the diocese that many of you visit for Mass, I know, in the communities and the groups that go on throughout this wonderful city. You know our motto here, 4 words: faith, friendship, community, service. I hope you've memorised it. Faith, friendship, community, service. It's on every poster that you've ever been given, every sticker, every banner. But the test of whether this means anything, the test of our chaplaincy life this year, is whether it continues. I don't mean whether you come back here next year. I mean whether this motto, these values, whether your faith continues. And I want to encourage you, I know lots of you are not leaving, but if you are, everything that you have found here, in the chaplaincy, in this time in London this year, everything that you found of value can be found in the place you're moving to. But you might need to work harder to find it. That's my key message. Everything that you've found, that you've been living, that's helped you in your faith this year, can be found in the place you're going to, but you might need to work harder to find it. The onus is on you, not just the Good Shepherd. He's looking for you, he's at your side, but he needs you to stay with him and to re-find him in the new place. It might not be handed to you on a plate. It's your responsibility to find a community of faith that will sustain you, where you can put down roots, where you can belong, and you can live your faith just as you've been living it here this year. Look, this is a great adventure. The excitement, the next stage of your journey of faith. It's also a test of faith, and it's not always easy. Look at the difficulties that Paul and Barnabas had in the community in Antioch today. It's not all roses and sweetness and light. There are challenges, but it is an adventure, and for you to feel that you're up for that. It needs some idealism. The beauty of our faith, of the church, the Good Shepherd guiding us to pastures new, to the places that we need to be. But it also needs some realism and some pragmatism. What do I need to do to make sure that this works next year? Well, let's get practical. You know this, but let me repeat it. The default for us as Catholics is to find our local Catholic parish community. That's the default. We're not congregationalists who shop around looking for the best place that suits us, that suits me, my personality, my spirituality. I'm Catholic. The default is for me to want to find my local community where I can belong, with people with all their strengths and weaknesses. This is my home, this is my family. And having found that, to try to get to know this community, to invest in it, to have a sense of belonging and to put down roots. Jesus is here in his sacraments. Jesus is here in his community, despite their weaknesses, despite my weaknesses. The church is here. It's not about looking for my favourite parish or priest or the best cake or the best coffee, although that helps. Notice the language I've used very carefully. This is your default. all things being equal, look to your local parish. It might not be perfect, but it is your home. You need them, and they need you. You have so much to give as a young person to this community that's welcoming you and waiting to receive you. And you and your parish need to grow together, you giving and you receiving. That's the default, all things being equal. But sometimes it's not possible or it doesn't work. I won't go through the list. I'm just being realistic. Sometimes it doesn't work. You can't get there. The travel doesn't work. The timetable doesn't work. And sometimes, for whatever reason, this isn't working for you in this parish at this time. Okay. Just in the short term, be pragmatic and acknowledge this, but don't give up on your faith and make sure you find somewhere else. Make sure you find somewhere. Pray about it. Pray to the Lord to guide you. Work at it. Go to your local parish. Go to the parishes nearby. As I say, it's not that you're shopping around, but it's you're trying to find a place that can be your home in these months and these years ahead. Whatever you do, don't give up. And whatever happens, make sure that you've got somewhere to go for Sunday Mass each weekend. That is the bottom line. You've got lots of other needs, but you need to meet the Lord, to meet your Sunday obligation, and to be with others who share your faith. Okay, you've landed, you've found a community. But on top of this, yes, be aware of your own spiritual and human needs. Yeah. It's not just that we default reluctantly and grunt and put up with it. No, God's given you a community, wonderful, but you have deep and profound personal needs. Make sure they're fulfilled as best they can be. You've been fed and nourished here in London at the chaplaincy and at your Catholic societies, I hope. And next year, wherever you are, you need to be fed and nourished, and each year, in different ways. You don't need to repeat your chaplaincy experience next year, because you will be different. You'll be in a different place, physically and psychologically. You might be in a different place in terms of vocation. Eventually, you might have discovered a lifelong vocation that requires very different nourishment and nurturing. But whatever stage you're at, you need to grow in faith and to be supported. How can you find the spiritual food that you need? That's the challenge. Don't give up. Don't settle for second best. And don't just coast along thinking, well, I've managed to get to Mass, that's great, but you need more than that to grow, especially as a young adult, especially in the world that we live in today. Maybe your parish will provide this. You're in a thriving parish with loads of activities and groups and support. Fantastic. But if it doesn't, don't get cynical or despairing. Don't start blaming the parish. But make sure that you find the food you need elsewhere, or that you start something in that parish that will feed you and that will feed others. We need supplements, basically, to use the language of nutrition and food. Yes, you need your solid meals, your solid basics, but we need supplements as well. Will that be something online? Will it be a group? Will it be a movement? Will it be keeping up with friends from London? Will it be a prayer group that you start or that you join? I don't know, and the list is endless. And how many sermons have you had about this over the months and the years? All I'm saying is, know your needs. You need a community to be rooted in, and you need to be fed. Make sure you fight for it. Don't become cynical. Don't give up. Are you feeling like you've heard all this before? Well, you have. Because this is my beginning of year sermon as well as my end of year sermon, isn't it? They're the same. What did I say to you at the Freshers' Mass? I said, daily prayer, Mass on Sundays, monthly confession, doing something that will help you in your faith. Faith, friendship, community, service. This is just what it is to be a Christian, to be a Catholic. It's what I encouraged you and we encouraged each other at the beginning of the year, and if you're leaving, I encourage you to continue it. It's just the same, only there's a little bit more onus on you to take responsibility for it now. That's the measure of the chaplaincy. It's not the cake, it's not the bums on seats, it's not even the wonderful things like baptisms and conversions and vocations. These are extraordinary, and we've celebrated them every time they happened, and I pray that there are many, many more. The ultimate measure of our life together this year is, do you go to heaven? And if that's too far ahead, the measure is your faith alive? And are you alive in your faith in Jesus Christ and in His Catholic Church next month, next year, and for the rest of your life? If you are, then I can sleep well at night tonight, and I can be at peace. So let's encourage one another, and wherever you are in the year ahead, I pray that you can find a home and all the help and support that you need.